So you know when you're eating and you have to sneeze, like I did this afternoon? Basically, you have three choices, right? You can sneeze into the air, which is nasty. You can sneeze into your clothes, which is also nasty. Or you can sneeze into your bowl. And I mean, at least you don't spread your germs or food particles anywhere else really, except within the confines of your food container. But it also means you have to eat it again. I did that and I just realized how gross that is. But at the same time, I mean, you kind of do the same for various other foods that you do, or drinks even. Kind of lick it back in, right? I mean, with that out of the way, I want to talk about my roller backpack massacre. Basically, I have a notorious gift for destroying roller backpacks throughout my elementary, middle school years, and like high school is kind of where I phased it out sophomore year. So it was a solid 10-ish years of just murdering. What I would have to do is ask for a new roller backpack every school year because I would go through one every school year. By the time the end of the school year came around, my backpack would be just a wreck. And there are so many things that could possibly happen to your roller backpack that you might not realize can actually render it useless. I guess I'm here to tell you about that and like what you can do to not do what I did. Let me go ahead and grab my demo backpack. This demo backpack is basically untouched by me, and so it's still in pristine condition, I suppose. Yeah, just to demonstrate how badly I broke my other backpacks. Let me go over the places that I broke my backpacks and also the stories behind where and why they got broken too. For example, we have here, this is the handle. And basically, I was usually carrying my backpacks downstairs, like just dragging them along and then pulling them on and then just kerplunking it down each stair step. So they went bump, 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 bump as each stair step came along. Undoubtedly, that caused a lot of stress on these little plastic handles of every single one of my backpacks. One time, it just like snapped clean right off, okay? I was at my daycare and I was getting ready to go onto my school bus, but my daycare, their porch had 3 steps. 3 steps, okay? That's all it took. I took it down 1, then 2, and then by the 3rd step, I realized my backpack wasn't even attached to the handle that I was holding anymore, okay? What do I do? So then, luckily, most roller backpacks also come with straps, just in case for you. If you ever break your roller backpack's rolling capabilities, you can always use the straps as like a backup. Obviously, straps saved my life, my academic life, multiple times. I'm not entirely too sure what to call the telescoping extension part of like the handle, but these broke semi-frequently, okay? Out of like the 10 backpacks that I broke, roughly 3 of those were because these telescoping arms would just come apart. So right here, there's like 2 notches, the plastic notches where like the handle, like this part segment stays onto this segment. Sometimes when I was pulling my backpack at school, I would eventually realize that the force I was applying wasn't distributed evenly. And that was usually because one of these came off. And then it also leads to the handle being broken as well. So basically, if this becomes loosey-goosey, this is now the point where it will snap off. And that happened to another backpack of mine. Backpack. Let me talk about the wheels, because I don't know how to explain this, but I don't pull at the right angle. Most people's hands are usually flat and parallel like this. However, when I was pulling my roller backpacks, I typically held them at a weird angle. So I kind of tilted to the right most times. And so it put extra pressure on the right side. Adding on to that, there were a lot of textbooks. And I will typically be one of those weird people that brings all of their heavy ass textbooks to school. When I tipped it over like that, all those textbooks kind of crashed over to that one side of the backpack and caused it to lean all the way over. So I would end up readjusting my backpack multiple times throughout the day, causing it to twist this way and that way on that one wheel and axle. So basically, it was not good. And I remember one time this, like just like the right wheel snapped off. Like literally the entire section from, let's see, from like, I guess, oopsies. Also, typically I would have trouble with cosmetic issues with these backpacks too, because when I was rounding corners, I did not round them large enough or wide enough. And so typically these like side pockets would always be raggedy taggedy by the time I finished with them. And that was just how it was. Those issues, like those cosmetic issues, weren't something that I would replace the backpacks for. It was usually just like the actual utility issues, like the ones like the wheels and the handles, because that's something that's important. Also, handles snapping off, those pieces are now sharp. Do not accidentally stab yourself in the hand by grabbing onto it. Don't do that. At the point where your backpack becomes holey enough that pencils and pens are slipping out of it easily, it means that your backpack is now a disaster pooper, and those things end up on the floor, and any unsuspecting elderly teacher comes along and just like slips on it. Well, yeah, the school won't like that, so don't do that. I think it's best to replace it before those holes become too large. Let me talk about the tips to preserve your roller backpack's livelihood life. And first is, I guess, avoiding stairs. Just, if you do use stairs, carry it by the handle. Even though the sound of roller backpacks falling downstairs might sound satisfying. Bump, 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 bump. Do not drag them down the stairs. It will kill the wheels, the handle, and everything else much, much faster. Remember, most of these items are made out of plastic. They are not shock absorbent or by any means. If you have like a rubber roller backpack, I think that'll be different. But like, most people don't have that. It's not like, oh yeah, that's a good question. I don't think anyone has like an elastic roller backpack that can possibly withstand that amount of force on it every day. Especially compounded with all those books and binders, and books and binders break backpacks. So in general. The second tip is just to pull with even pressure, like how I demonstrated. Don't pull like this, pull like this, and your backpack will survive for longer. You might be asking, why did I use so many roller backpacks if I just kept destroying them? I did not want to carry around heavy ass textbooks on my back because I was more worried about my posture and spine. So I thought I might as well just roll around all those heavy ass textbooks in a backpack instead. Third and final tip, I think, is just to convert physical textbooks into PDF format, whether it be by legal or illegal means. Either way, if you just use online versions at school, you don't have to bring those 15, 20 pound. It just helps to make your usage of your backpacks more sustainable. Save a lot of money, and also they save weight. Like, especially if you have like classes that are up and down stairs, or classes that are, I don't know, spaced terribly across campus, or you have to jog across the football field to get from one to the other. Eliminating the weight of your textbooks from what you carry every day to school is potentially life extensioning. Is that the right phrase? My two video ideas are speech and debate, trials and tribulations, and also, do you want public bathroom realness in your own house? Because